Hey guys, it's Eric from GameShampoo.com, and I'm here with a weekly news update, most of which is going to pertain to GTA 5 this week, because it is Sunday, September 15th today, and GTA 5 is launching in just 2 days. So, most of the stuff we've got up here is going to pertain to GTA 5. Most of the stuff we've got going up over the next couple of weeks is also going to pertain to GTA 5. We're going to have guides, we're going to have a review, obviously, any sort of news or like patch notes or anything like that that needs to come out, we will obviously have as well. Collectible stuff. Once we get into the multiplayer a little bit more, which is happening in October, then we're going to have some multiplayer tips and tricks and stuff like that as well. And I believe we already have an achievements and trophies guide up here. So if this somehow is not enough GTA 5 for you already, given that we're already going back like over a week on a lot of the news that we're doing, there's more coming, so always keep an eye out. It's a pretty huge game. But I'm just going to go down the list and I'm going to read off everything that happened in terms of news over the last week, including reviews and previews and news from the Apple conference as well. So let's get started. After all that GTA 5, that was a weird way of saying that. After all that GTA 5 talk, there we go, that's better. Let's start with not GTA 5, Rayman Legends. That was the latest thing that I've posted. I finally finished that game on the PC, just in time for Uplay to kind of crap out on me, that Uplay client that you have to use to play Rayman, as well as Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed and like all of Ubisoft stuff on PC, Trials, that kind of stuff lately. That thing is so terrible. The Uplay client would not let me log in to Rayman Legends under my normal account for some reason, so I had to make a second account, and then I just had to leave that running in the background the whole time for like a week while I was doing work and other stuff, because I didn't want Uplay to kick me out and not let me log in again, but it ended up happening again after I got through the game, and now I can't get back into the game because it's banned my other account, my second account, from going in, but not my first account now, but I already used the CD key on my second account. So I guess what I'm trying to say is Rayman Legends is awesome, but if you cannot play that game on the PC, I know it's $40 on the PC and it's pretty long and it's a great value for $40, but if you cannot play that game on the PC, don't play it on the PC. Like, that Uplay thing is just all kinds of messed up right now. I think their latest update really screwed it up for a lot of people, because going through the kind of Steam help section on the forums when I was having all these issues, I found a bunch of other people that were having similar problems getting the game up and running, couldn't even launch the demo, couldn't even get up to the title screen, stuff like that. So, awesome game. It ended up being a rare 10 out of 10 for our site. I think the last one I gave 10 out of 10 to was Fire Emblem Awakening. And it's basically the perfect 2D platformer. I haven't played anything in terms of 2D platformers that inventive and creative and energetic and whimsical since probably Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo. So, love the game. If you like platformers at all, definitely check it out. Maybe don't check out the PC version. There's versions for the 360, the PS3, and the Wii U as well. Those are all $60. If you want to get a $40 version of the game, but you don't want to buy it on the PC because of that crappy Uplay client, you can also buy it for the Vita. It's $40 on the Vita, and then you've got like a little portable, amazing platformer in your pocket. I'm actually planning on maybe going out and picking that version up as well. It's only $40, like I said. It's missing the invasion levels, which are kind of these timed challenge events that you'll get after you go through a level. An invasion version of that level will sometimes appear and challenge you with a whole new layout. You've got to race through this whole maze while there's like a clock counting down, and you can't get hit by anything. It's really tough, really challenging, a lot of fun. There's, I think, 28 of those levels, and they are missing from the Vita version, but Ubisoft said they're going to be patching them in for free at some point in the future. Hopefully that's sooner rather than later. The only reason they're not in there already is because development on that took a little bit longer than they expected, which is kind of ironic given that the game was supposed to be out back in like March or February or something. But yeah, if you can pick it up on the Vita, I would highly recommend that. Or pick it up on one of the consoles if you don't have a Vita or you don't mind paying full price for it or whatever. It's absolutely, absolutely fantastic. So full review up on the site, GameShampoo.com/magazine. It's going to be the first thing you see on the site right now. It's going to be the first thing you see in the reviews section until GTA 5 hits on Tuesday. / Monday night, I guess, for a lot of people. So that's Rayman. Let's go ahead and get one of the few other non-GTA related pieces of news out of the way. Or two of them, I guess. We've got two more reviews. I also posted a review of Killzone Mercenary on Tuesday, the day that the game came out. This, speaking of the Vita, is a Vita exclusive Killzone first-person shooter, and I want to say the second FPS to come out on the console. It's definitely the second Sony-published FPS to come out for the little handheld, and it's way better than Resistance Burning Skies, which I absolutely hated, but it's still not really that great. We gave it a 6 out of 10, and the detractions from the points primarily come from just kind of awkward controls. You have to either double tap on the back touch panel to sprint, or hit the circle button, which also happens to be the crouch button to sprint. And since crouching and sprinting are kind of opposites, that's a little awkward. And anything involving the back touch panel is always awkward. There's a lot of forced touch stuff, like there was kind of with the DualShock motion control stuff in Killzone 2, where it's like you've got to go up and you've got a valve in front of you. It's like turn the valve and you have to kind of like do one of these repeatedly on the screen, and it's just kind of awkward and stilted, and it really doesn't seem necessary. So there's a lot of weird control stuff, and there's a lot of really poor level design stuff. The rooms are really kind of pocket sized. They're good for handheld gaming. They're quick. Checkpoints generally come pretty fast, but somehow, even though these rooms are so small, they've been designed not oftentimes, but like in a lot of circumstances, they've been designed in such a way that it's like navigating through a labyrinth. Like you go through a room on one side of the room, or go through a door on one side of the room, you end up in another room, and then you go through a door on the opposite side of the room, and you somehow end up in that same room, even though the two doors were on opposite sides. It's really weird level design that kind of feels like you're navigating through a maze a little too often. And there's really egregious auto aim in that game. You can shoot straight past the guy's head, kind of just make an outline around his body, and you're good enough. You definitely don't even have to hit the enemies with your definitely don't even have to hit the enemies with your bullets, and you can still pick up headshots and stuff like that, which is a little crazy to me, especially after Uncharted Golden Abyss proved that you can totally do accurate aiming on the Vita sticks for a shooter. So really awkward in a lot of ways, but at the same time, if you're going to be doing like maybe 5 or 6 hours of traveling and you just need something to make it go by, you could do a lot worse also. There are plenty of solid elements to the game too. The multiplayer is generally fine. Not that you'll really have access to it if you're traveling, unless maybe you want to use airplane Wi-Fi or something, but that seems like a terrible idea. The multiplayer is generally fine. Doesn't have a lot of that auto aim stuff. The graphics look really great on the Vita's tiny screen, and it feels like it kind of ties in thematically a little bit with Shadowfall, which is coming out in November, and which looks totally awesome. Again, 2 previews of that up on the site. If you haven't read that yet, you definitely should. But thematically, it looks a little bit closer to Shadowfall, because you're kind of starting off, at least, in this world that's not necessarily this kind of gray and brown, war-torn world that you're used to seeing in Killzone 1, 2, and 3. A little bit more color, a little bit more industry to it. And then kind of as it goes on, you end up going up to Helgen and end up fighting for both sides, which is interesting. And there's a really kind of fun XP system that kind of powers everything under the hood, where you're getting XP for headshots and double kills and stuff like that. And there are a few neat drone kills and stealth kills and whatever. So it's solid enough. as you could probably tell from the 6 score, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend picking it up for $40 if you're not kind of in desperate need of a portable game. So that's Killzone, and then finally I reviewed Killer is Dead for the PlayStation 3 as well, way back towards the beginning of the week. That's a weird game. It's a really strange game. I gave it, I believe, a 5.5 out of 10, so did not enjoy that. Definitely enjoyed it the least out of all the games that I was playing over the last week or so. Just like the high contrast art style makes things hard to see. The story is absolute gibberish, and really kind of the pacing is kind of all over the place. It goes from really slow-paced scenes to really fast-paced, kind of like nonsensical, typical anime kind of stuff, I guess. Combat's not super deep. It doesn't really feel weighty or fluid. It's just a little stiff, kind of like the No More Heroes stuff on the Wii, but just lacking that personality, or at least lacking the right kind of personality, I guess. This game is dumb in a really bad way, and it's not, the combat isn't good enough by any stretch of the imagination to kind of elevate that stuff. Like, last year's Lollipop Chainsaw, the combat was fine enough, still a little kind of stiff, but the rest of the game was funny enough and colorful enough and weird enough that it was fun to play. But not the case here. The gameplay and the story and the humor and all that stuff just kind of fall flat in Killer is Dead. So even if you're a Suda fan, which I definitely am, I would say skip over this one. It's not super great. Maybe just go play No More Heroes 2 or something like that again. Okay, so now we're going to go through the rest of this news pretty quickly. Battlefield 4 minimum and recommended system requirements were revealed this week. The minimum requirements are a dual-core CPU, Intel Core i5 or AMD Bulldozer, at least 2 GB main system memory, a graphics card with at least 256 MB of VRAM and support for DirectX 10, 20 plus gigabytes of hard drive space, gotta love that giant chunk of hard drive this thing's going to be taken up, and Windows Vista or higher. And then the recommended requirements are a quad-core CPU, Intel Core i5 or i7 at 3 GHz, a 4 GB memory, 8 gigs for 64-bit operating systems, a modern DX11 graphics card with 1 GB of video memory, GeForce 600 series or Radeon 7000 series, a Windows 7 64-bit operating system, Windows 8 is supported as well, and of course 20 plus gigabytes of free hard drive space. And then DICE also notes that Battlefield 4 is slightly optimized for AMD hardware since the game also runs on next-gen consoles, which are powered by AMD's CPUs and GPUs. This means gamers with AMD PC graphics card might see a slight advantage. Both NVIDIA and AMD offer Battlefield 4 optimized PC drivers. So if you're planning on playing on PC, there you go. Otherwise, you can get it on next-gen consoles, and you're still going to get the 64 players and 60 frames a second, which is really nice. And obviously, we're going to have coverage of next-gen Battlefield and all that stuff in November. Apple revealed the iPhone 5C as well as the iPhone 5S and officially launched iOS 7 on the 10th. Apple CEO Tim Cook took to the stage to reveal 2 new types of iPhone 5. There's the 5S, which is kind of like the 4S, just a kind of an incremental upgrade over the 5, except this one has a fingerprint scanner in the little home button, which is really nifty and kind of serves as a good way to circumvent having the traditional numeric password, which is really easy for somebody to just see over your shoulder or whatever. And it's also a good way for you to stop using passwords in apps like iTunes. Now you can just kind of stick your thumb on there, or whatever finger you map to it, and it'll serve as your password. So that's really cool. The 5S is also going to have a new A7 processor, an improved camera, although they didn't say specifics as far as I'm aware, and dual LED flash for photos. It's going to ship in space gray, silver, and gold, which is kind of a change up from the standard white and black, but I think the gold especially looks really nice. And then there's the 5C, which is a budget version of the current 5. It's going to have the same processor, which is an A6, and an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera. And it's going to be $99 or $199 in a 16 gigabyte or 32 gigabyte version, respectively. And that's, of course, with a 2-year contract. Basically, it's just a cheaper iPhone 5. The shell is also made out of plastic, not metal, so you're going to feel that difference in terms of the phone feeling a little bit lighter, like Galaxy S3 or S4. Just got one of those in addition to my iPhone to kind of swap up with my contract, and it's just amazing how much lighter the plastic is than the metal. Although obviously that makes it less protected as well if you drop it on the subway or down the stairs or something like that. So definitely get a case for that. And it's going to come in a bunch of different colors too. Just off the top of my head, I think there's pink, green, blue, white, and maybe like purple or something like that. I think there were 5 colors. So that's non-GTA stuff. And now we're going to get into this giant swath of GTA 5 news. What can you do in GTA Online? We found out on the 11th, GTA Online is going to be huge. It's going to feature over 500 different missions. And those missions will include heists, robberies, assaulting gang hideouts, hijacking armored vehicles, races, tennis, golf, and base jumping. Missions on offer will often change dynamically by the Rockstar Social Club app, which will tie in wirelessly to the game and kind of cycle missions endlessly throughout the world. The end goal of GTA Online is to amass a ton of money for yourself, and you can kind of invest that into vehicles, houses, planes, and clothes, anything else you want for your avatar. Kind of build up this awesome crime syndicate life around your massive fortune. But players can steal your money if you're carrying it around on your person, so you're going to want to visit ATMs and deposit all your cash really regularly, or else people are going to come after you, shoot you, and then you're out like $1 million or something. So going to be, heading to ATMs a lot, pulling off a lot of heists and a lot of co-op missions, as well as a lot of missions that are available through single player. The vast majority of those missions will require multiple players, but certain ones will not require players at all, except for yourself. GTA 5 spoilers were leaked on Vine on the 12th. A huge series of spoilers in 6-second video format came out via user JSticks11, who has since had his Xbox account banned from Microsoft because of putting all these spoilers up specifically. So if you want to know what goes down in GTA 5, including there's full frontal nudity, I think, and uncensored sex and all this other weird, like, oh my god, it's so controversial, but not really, because, like, who cares, really, stuff, and actual story spoilers as well, and there's other stuff like upgrades and weapons and vehicles and stuff like that that you can find on there as well. If you really can't wait until Tuesday, you can go to JSticks11's Vine account and see all that stuff for yourself. At this point, just why not wait? Although the poor dude did get his Xbox 360 account banned, and he said, I did it for y'all in the last video, so it sucks for him, honestly, like, too bad, but the spoilers are out there if you want to find them. If you haven't pre-ordered the game yet, somehow we have a complete list of the various retailers who are still taking pre-orders and what bonuses they're going to give you for those pre-orders, and we also have a separate list indicating every store that's doing a midnight launch, at least every chain store. There might be a few small ones that we missed, but every chain store that's doing a midnight launch, including GameStop, EB Games, Walmart, and Best Buy, and those guys are going to be offering you bonuses in the form of posters. Walmart's got a $5 Voodoo digital movie credit, which is actually a really good deal. The Microsoft store has the best bonus. You can get $20 back in Microsoft points, which you can spend on Xbox Live. There's no doubt going to be DLC for GTA 5 at some point, probably $20 like the GTA 4 stuff was. So you're essentially getting free GTA 5 DLC or whatever else you want to get for that $20 when you go to the Microsoft store. You can preload GTA 5 on your PS3. This should be eligible for everyone right now. It rolled out in Europe one day earlier than it rolled out in the United States, I believe, but should be live on PSN or SEN right now. You can load up all the game's files. That way you can just jump right in as soon as the game launches in your region, which is pretty awesome. We've got details on the GTA 5 limited edition strategy guide, including the cover and kind of the contents, what exactly is so special about this guide. So go and check that out if you're interested in a physical guide, although plug, if you're interested in not paying $35, I think it was, for a GTA 5 guide, you come back to GameShampoo.com/magazine next week and the weeks following. We're going to have tons of GTA 5 stuff on the site for free. So, if you feel like slumming it with the internet instead of shelling out almost $40 for a guide, just saying, just as good. We've got details on why you can't play as a woman in GTA 5 in terms of the single-player campaign. Essentially, it's not masculine enough. They wanted a masculine tone for the story. I don't really think that's a very good excuse. There's 3 players. Like, 2 of them being dudes is still pretty masculine. But if you do want to play as a woman, you can do so in GTA 5 Online, which will launch in October, and which will allow you to customize your character. Really in-depth stuff. Let's see, players can supposedly spend years with GTA 5 Online. According to Rockstar, they're going to be rolling out further updates, one of which will very likely include GTA 4's city of Liberty City. They've gone on record as saying that all of their past work should be available at some point in GTA Online. And that's such a long-term effort that it makes me think, combined with the wording of GTA 5 Online comes free with GTA 5, as opposed to it's just the multiplayer mode of GTA 5. All that stuff makes me think that GTA Online will be available as a separate download at some point, which will keep going much more into the future than the GTA 5 single-player stuff will. That's just a hunch, but Liberty City should be in GTA Online at some point. Maybe not too soon, but eventually. And that's just about going to do it for news this week. And like I said, if you're looking forward to GTA 5, be sure to check back in next week. Guides, reviews, news. We're going to have it all. So stay tuned to GameShampoo.com/magazine. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.